안녕하세요.こんばんは、みんな。もう、暗闇の中に、あ、ちょっと話す、あの、毎日ビデオを作りますので、20、29日、continuous なので、英語に言う。英語に、今、韓国語の放送のニュースあの、あ、あ、アンケートじゃないよ。SPS も見ていたの。あの、あ、僕の指。あの、I'm gonna take a minute to talk today about what we mean by self-taught. A lot of people claim that it's in order to be efficient as a language learner or as anything really, is that it's important to be self-taught. But a lot of us get confused. I mean, I get confused a lot we when we talk about being self-taught. People always ask me like, "Oh, you know Japanese? How did you learn? Did you go to Japan?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I just taught myself." I. And they say, "Oh, you taught yourself such a difficult language. Oh my God, you must be so smart." And I'm like, "No, no, no. It's just because I'm stubborn." And I'm actually a lot of people who are a lot smarter than me who've been able to improve a lot faster in Japanese and all that. Um, it's just it raises the question like, what really is self-taught? I mean, I don't really consider myself to be self-taught because there's lots of I've I never had a teacher, but I I always got a dictionary and learned new vocabulary by myself, but I don't really consider it by myself because what I do is I read books that are written by people who are very knowledgeable, and I consider that I'm learning from them rather than I'm teaching myself. Because if you really think about it, teaching yourself uh, purely from yourself is mostly considered insanity because how can you know stuff that you don't know? So I always considered self-taught to be uh, knowledge seeking rather than knowledge gaining. Like say say you want to learn about a certain politics or something, Malcolm X was always considered to be self-taught man. And I don't really he may have considered himself self-taught, but I mean from my point of view he read works by other people who had lots of experience, and so he was merely learning from them really. Now there's a difference between learning from other people and coming up with your own um, what's it called? Personalizing. When you personalize it by there's a difference between uh, just regurgitating everything you read and actually processing it. And like, what does this mean to me? And what does this apply to my life? And how can I use this to improve the life of others? Is pretty much how it really goes. Um, if I always seek others' help when I learn. See, I can't just sit here and watch TV and learn Korean. Rather, I use it as a tool to automatically review what I have learned. All right, and you know, there's a lot of stuff that you do learn without any other learning from watching news and radio, listening to radio, is that you hear people speaking in a natural way, and then your brain puts the connection together. I mean, I guess theoretically you could learn a language just by listening, and you know, you don't. Nothing really happens in isolation. Your brain absorbs everything around you. So if you think that you're just learning from one thing, maybe you're learning from something else too, because your brain seeks desperately for connections. It's what it does every single waking and sleeping moment. Is literally what it does is it connects electronic, uh, neuron connection. I'm not a neuroscientist, but it fires off neurons and interprets them. And so what it does when you're learning the speech patterns of others is it listens intently to everything, because your brain doesn't differentiate. It just absorbs. That's all it does. Now, there might be something else inside of you that puts meaning into things, and this may be what our soul is. I don't know for sure, but um, when I'm not sure where I'm going with this. I'm just desperately trying to make sure stay committed to making a video every day, and maybe what I say may be entertaining or at least meaningful to someone. It may be even meaningful to me in the future, because what I do is sometimes I rewatch my videos like a month or so down the line to see the progress I've made. Really, my YouTube channel's for me. I mean, I hope someone's life has changed for the better because of me. That's but whether or not people watch my videos, I'm still gonna make them, because you never know how they will benefit you. I mean, I mean, the only thing, I mean, you'll know for sure that if you don't make it, that you won't benefit. But even if you don't think you'll benefit, you don't know until it happens. So that's pretty much why I don't really know. I mean, I know what I want to do in my life. I know that I want to help people. I know that I want to work with people who don't understand English. That's why I'm learning Korean. There's a lot of Koreans in my area in Santa Rosa. I haven't really found any Japanese speakers. That's all the Japanese people I know who speak Japanese, or people who learn Japanese, are on the internet. I've met one person who has been studying Japanese as long as I have, but we tend to switch to English because there's always English speakers around us. So it's kind of a toss up. It's like I want to end up living in Japan, but I don't have the means to do it yet, and so I don't really have a visual. There's no visible reward. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, but I don't know how to get there. I'm talking as I'm looking at my camera, so uh, there's all I know is that I don't know what the goal is, really, besides the generic. I don't really know the specifics, but I know that if I give up, then I know exactly what's going to happen. I know that it's just going to be me being miserable. And even if on the road to where where I end up being is, even if the road is miserable, I know that if that once I get to where I'm satisfied, I will have, I will thank myself. I will be like, I could have easily just given up. I could have easily have just stopped studying. Except it's actually harder than it sounds to stop. I'm literally an addict. I'm a junkie. I can't get enough. I I mean, like, if I'm sitting down in on my computer and something in either Japanese, Korean, or Chinese isn't going, I consider myself wasting time, because unless I'm looking for work or talking to family or talking to Carrie because I love her. You know, or you know, watching something that I enjoy, like Family Guy or something. If I don't, if I'm, I came with the mindset, if I'm gonna watch TV, I may as well watch TV in a different language. If I'm gonna play a video game, I may as well play it in a different language. You see where I'm going with this. Uh, that has pretty much, because if I can't play Pokemon anymore unless it's in Japanese or Korean or Chinese, but I don't think there's a good Chinese version now on the internet anyway. Uh, but it's this is me. This isn't you, whoever you are. I know I must have viewers because my videos have more views than I've watched them. It's just I really I don't know who you are. I'd like to know my viewers. I mean, if you leave a comment, I'll comment. If you send a message, I'll reply. If you have a website, I'll go to it. If you have a channel, I'll subscribe. I really want to network. I want to make this work. I want to have a career out of this. And even if it's just start out as just friends, I really want to make friends with people who do what I do. People who have, like-minded people who are like-minded. Because, maybe on our own we'll have trouble trying to make it in this world, in this life. But, as I don't know if that was tea or if that was marijuana. You can't really see it from here. I think I heard cha, which means tea in Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. So, that's part of the reason why I chose those three languages to be my focus. I want to be able to speak many languages, but these three are my primary focus. I don't know what it is. It's just I am completely addicted to all three cultures, and I found I found a lot of connections between the three. I don't know if what my connections I made are actually realistic or true uh, assumptions, but all I know is that I'm drawn to them since I was like 11 years old or 10. It's a little bit more complicated than just like I'm just into anime. I was into anime for a really long time. I was a kid and I watched Pokemon every day on UPN, watched Sailor Moon, and I didn't even know it was Japanese. I just it's a cartoon. And then I heard people say, oh, it's a Japanese cartoon. I'm like, actually no, I found out because I read the credits, and then I was like, oh, that's Japanese. I don't know how I knew. I was like 10. I guess someone told me, I guess. And I had a crush on this girl who really liked anime too. She liked Sailor Moon. And oh, if you're watching, Carrie, I'm sorry I mentioned one of my past crushes, but please forgive me. um, but this is when I was like 10 or 11. Uh, but I always tried to look for friends who also liked anime and stuff. But I would watch the PBS channel that played Chinese stuff, and me and my brother and my sister, we would watch this costume drama where it was about all these people, and I think they were like these royalty people or rich people or something. And he was the main character was like a lecher, and he always tried to peek on the women and stuff. And we watched this, and it only this is what I watch now is I only watch stuff in the raw or with subtitles if it's one of the three languages I'm learning. If I watch something in English, I keep it, I keep English separate from all these three because I believe that Well, not just a belief, but literally, if I have English subtitles, my mind automatically goes to the subtitles and just disregards what's being said, no matter how hard I try. So instead of just trying really hard to watch it with subtitles, I just, it's a lot easier just to take the subtitles off. And um, anyway, this Chinese show had Chinese subtitles, and we kind of just made fun of it. We would watch it, and we go like we would make up what they said, and we would be like, "Oh, my hair is longer than yours. I am superior because my hair is long." You're like, "No, my hair is grayer," and stuff like that, and like, "I have the finest silk." And me and my sister and my brother would just do this for a while, and I think I'm the only one who kept doing it, even though now it's a little bit more serious. I actually study with dictionaries and find new vocabulary, and I make an effort to understand the culture instead of just blindly just like making fun. But my mind does wander. That's why sometimes I feel like I'm just internalizing things, and that's why I make an effort to learn more vocabulary, and why my dictionary is just full of just a lot of vocabulary, and I never feel like I know enough. Uh, I mean, with English, I guess I got to a point. I mean, you get to a point when it's your first language anyway, where you just say like enough is enough. I think I can live my rest of my life without learning new stuff, or I mean, without making an effort to sit down and like learn new vocabulary, because it just feels like you're just sitting down learning new words and that you're never going to use at a point. Because I mean, if you repeat words enough in everyday conversation, they get pretty solidified, and you don't really need to. And then you get to a point where the only new words you learn are really specific vocabulary, such as um, medical, which has a lot of Latin, but medical words or law words, which usually you learn those if your career is based on that. Which I'm gonna make an effort to learn law and medical, because I want to, with my career as an interpreter and translator, is I want to work with people in hospitals, and I want to work with people in court, and people who otherwise would just either not be able to get help by a doctor, or go to jail falsely because they accept the first thing they get sentenced, even though they're innocent, or even if they aren't innocent, if they don't have to go to jail, if they had somebody to help them. Like, some people don't really belong in jail. Some people just made a mistake, and like, they end up in jail because they didn't have a good lawyer, and if they don't speak English, then that's even harder to find, and usually people can't afford those lawyers. And I am really not, I have to make a living at some point. I'm looking for a job right now, but at some point I want to be able to make a living on helping people and translate. But at some point, I would if I can make enough to make a living, and everything else is just bonus, I wouldn't mind going helping people pro bono, because some people, I really want to help people. I'm not in it for the money, and like, money helps with life, but for me anyway, money isn't something I need. I mean, if extra money to me is just, if I'm not saving it, in addition to my saving. I'm talking about money that you're just going to spend. You know, I'm just going to spend it on, material that will help me with language learning. Like, I'll buy books, or I'll buy subscription or something. I'm completely addicted. Like I said, it's really kind of bizarre how, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and preach that like that you shouldn't spend money. Everybody, if you like material things, that's your thing. It's like it's just what you do. It's just me personally. I can't really see myself caring so much about money that I'm not gonna help someone if they can't afford the help. because I'm spending all this time learning languages not for the money, but so I can actually help people. And um, I guess this is the 20-minute mark. I kind of been tired today. I like woke up. I went to sleep early yesterday. I went to sleep around 10 or 11, which is I usually have Japanese TV going on for a couple hours, and then I just slowly drift into sleep around 2 o'clock or so. But I've been making an effort to go to bed earlier. So you know, I went to bed at around 10 o'clock, and I had Japanese TV on and with an auto sleep timer, but I ended up turning it off about after an hour or so, and then um, I woke up this morning really early and just like had no energy, and then I woke up at 3 o'clock. So I pretty much the whole day has been just resting, and I promised myself I would make a video every day for at least 29 days. And I say 29 instead of 30 because I'm trying to test. Well, I'm not really testing. I think that we stick to something more better if it's an exact number rather than a rounded up number or rounded down number. So if I said 30 days, then I'd be like, oh, 30. I mean, like I may as well just do it. Like stop doing it. So I'd probably forget about it. But 29 days is a very specific number. It takes a little bit more effort for your brain to remember 29 than it does to 30. I don't know the specifics on it, but you know, um, I watched a couple videos from Lao Shu and Steve Kaufman and from Link and watched a couple other videos about some other things randomly. I posted on my Facebook. Uh, I don't know. I'm just kind of just sitting here and trying to maximize maximize my earnings from my time. Uh, it's just you know, if you're watching this video, maybe you might learn something from the Korean show that's in there, or maybe you might be inspired to make videos yourself. Because I know a lot of people who they study a lot, but my friend Brandon, he was in a video of Brandon from UC Davis. He started studying Korean because we both decided that I decided on my own that I'm going to study Korean like once and for all because I've been over the past couple of years I would randomly hear Korean and be like, oh, this is way different than Japanese. Everyone keeps telling me it's the same. Like, this is so different, and I'm like, every time I attempted to learn Hangul, I would I'd be like, this isn't anything like hiragana and katakana, and it doesn't have any Chinese characters. How do you understand what they're saying? But then like once I started seeing it, it separate from Japanese and Korean in my mind. It's its own thing. It's more of an audio language than a visual. Although learning Hangul is important because it's your ABCs. it's it helps you get closer to the language you're trying to learn. So I know so many people who just don't learn scripts. They just learn. When I first started learning Japanese, I would use Romaji. I used it for a couple years, and I made an effort to learn hiragana, but I never made the effort until 2 years ago to actually commit myself to memorizing them. And so I've learned a lot from that. Now that I started Korean, I'm making an effort to really understand Hangul and like be able to see it and instantly know what it says instead of having you saw I had uploaded a video yesterday where I was trying to read and if I do it every day, please forgive me, you don't have to watch it, but I'm gonna do it just to motivate myself so that I know that I'm gonna do it every day. And I think I might do one. I might make one tonight. Actually, I might do a notebook vocabulary one tonight. Actually, no, I'm gonna do both. um, anyway, if you've been listening all along, thank you. Please, I'm not, trying to make a bunch of money. I'm really just trying to make a living. And if you have a few extra bucks to spare, you can click on the donate button in my channel. If you're a little better off and you want to actually help someone. I mean, I, I'm not afraid to ask for a handout. I was homeless for a couple of years. But, I don't see it as a handout. I see it as, I feel that anybody who does something for the good of mankind but spends time doing it, at some point you're going to need compensation. And if you believe me, then, if you believe in what I do, then you would probably have no problem helping me out. I'm also looking to meet up with people who are also learning languages, because I believe that together we could accomplish great things. And if you live in California, I'd be more than willing to travel around California if it's anywhere in California, especially in the SF Bay Area, because I live in Santa Rosa, which is an hour or so north of San Francisco. If you live in Sonoma County, even better. I'd like to. We can meet at the Santa Rosa Junior College, because they have some of the rooms have whiteboards, so we could study together. And if you are part of an agency or a business and you need someone who to even do basic things, I am very dedicated, and I can learn anything. I'm really good with computers, and I am very patient. So if you need someone even to just, do paperwork or to fill out applications on a computer or to fill out data entry or to get people coffee for their lunch or to deliver things, I'm more than willing. If you can contact me, you can contact me through YouTube, or you can email it me at alex.loringer.1988@gmail.com. I'll put it in the description. If you're part of a university and you believe that I'm I deserve a grant, feel free to contact me also. Uh, anyway, if you really want to learn Japanese, but you don't really have any motivation, and you want someone to speak with you on Skype or something, I'm willing to do a couple sessions for free. But at some point, I do need to make a living. I'd be able to. I would charge, less than what the competitors do per hour, and I don't, I really don't feel confident in my Japanese ability, but maybe I am more fluent than I realize. So I can definitely teach you the basics that'll get you up to an intermediate level, because that's where I'm at. So if you need a friend to motivate you, then I'm that friend. Anyway, I'm on Skype, so it's Areckx, Areckx. You can call me anytime, but at some point, if you want to actually do lessons, I really need compensation because I need to make a living, and I'm living with some a friend of mine's parents, and they're my friends too. So I'm living with some friends right now, and I have absolutely no income. I don't want to take advantage of these really nice people. So if you could donate, that would really help out them as well as me. So it's really not for me, it's for them. So if you believe in what I do, then, and if you're even watch my videos, then I guess, I encourage you to comment and give me feedback, because I'm really in desperate need of that. I'm just tired of being just on my own. I want us as language learners to come together and not be isolated in our desks, pounding our heads into our notebooks. Anyway, I'll make a Japanese video later and a Korean video later. I'm sorry, Chinese. I'm taking a break from you while I'm studying Korean because my brain would just explode. And I don't want to confuse myself. So don't worry, I'm not giving up on you. Anyway, see you later. And if you're watching still, Carrie, I love you very much. And I'm still looking for a job. I called Macy's today, so hopefully we can live together again soon, honey. Okay, bye bye.